Welcome. I'm David Salt, head of the Department of Theater and Film Studies, and we are absolutely delighted and honored to have the opportunity today in honor of Alfred Uhry's induction into the Georgia Writers Hall of Fame to present to you a staged reading of The Last Night of Ballyhoo, featuring a group of our Department of Theater and Film Studies faculty and students. So without any further ado, the way this is going to work is we'll take a 5-minute break after the first act. The whole thing should take about 2 hours, and then there'll be a 5-minute break after that, and then we'll have a panel discussion with the playwright and a group of faculty from throughout the university to discuss the play and the playwright's work. Thank you.
The Last Night of Ballyhoo by Alfred Uhry. Cast of characters: Adolf Freitag, a businessman. Boo Levy, his sister. Reba Freitag, his sister-in-law. Lala Levy, Boo's daughter. Sonny Freitag, Reba's daughter. Joe Farkas, Adolf's business assistant. Peachy Wheel, a visitor from Lake Charles. Time, December 1939. Place, Atlanta, Georgia. Act 1, Scene 1. Lights up on Adolf Freitag's house on Haversham Road. It is mid-December 1939. We see a portion of the living room, a hall with stairs leading to the bedroom floor, and a portion of the dining room beyond the hall. The house is vaguely Spanish, stucco with a tile roof, Moorish archways, wrought iron railings, etc. The furnishings are many and heavy. Lala Levy is decorating a Christmas tree in a corner of the living room surrounded by cardboard boxes of ornaments, a few strings of Christmas tree lights strung across the furniture. Reba Freitag, her aunt, is on the sofa knitting a sweater.
Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel.
Lala!
Yes?
I forgot what a sweet singing voice you have.
Thank you, Auntie.
Like a little bird.
Oh, God. They saw a star shining in the...
Lala! How do you like the tree so far, Mama?
Where did that star come from?
I bought it at Rich's.
Take it down.
Why?
Take it down this minute.
I like it.
Jewish Christmas trees do not have stars.
Why not?
You know perfectly well why not.
A star is a symbol of the birth of the Messiah.
Oh, pooh. If you have a star on the tree, you might as well go back on down to Rich's and buy a manger scene and stick it in the front yard.
I like that.
Fine. Then everybody that drives down Haversham Road will think we're a bunch of Jewish fools pretending we're Christians.
Yes, they will.
What do you mean?
We have a big Christmas tree right here in the front window.
A Christmas tree is another thing altogether. It's a festive decoration like a Halloween pumpkin or a Valentine heart. Everybody with any sense in their head knows that Christmas is just another American holiday if you leave out that silly nonsense about Jesus being born. Now take down that star.
I wish you two could see yourselves. Is my hair funny? Atlanta is the center of the world tonight, and you two are going at me over a Christmas tree ornament. We ought to be celebrating.
Celebrate what, I'd like to know?
My God, Mama! Clark Gable is less than 5 miles from this house right this very second.
And precisely what does that have to do with us?
Drat! Tonight is the most important event in the history of Atlanta.
For Margaret Mitchell, maybe, but not for me, and certainly not for you.
I did something wrong. I'm never going to get this sweater finished in time for Sonny to take back to college.
Well, certainly not for me. You have other things to think about.
What?
Ballyhoo.
Ballyhoo's ages away.
Less than 2 weeks, and nobody's asked you.
I don't care.
I do.
Then get somebody to ask you and leave me alone.
Phone Sylvan Wheel in Lake Charles, that's all I ask.
Mama!
Well, why not?
Girls don't ask boys to Ballyhoo.
I didn't say ask him, I said telephone him. And after you've chatted for a while, you can inquire about his plans for the holidays casually.
I don't care what his plans for the holidays are.
Of course you do. You and he are good friends.
We are not friends. We are acquaintances.
Acquaintances? Well, what about the house party at Myrtle Beach? And he's certainly all you talked about when you came home from Edith Asher's wedding in Birmingham last month.
He's all you talked about. A Louisiana wheel, a Louisiana wheel. Finest family in the South. Wheel, 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 wheel.
There is nothing wrong with good bloodline.
Maybe if you're breeding cocker spaniels.
I'm sure he is a lovely boy.
He's not very romantic.
Well, let's face it, Lala. Clark Gable is probably not going to ask you to Ballyhoo.
But somebody else just might.
Who?
Ferdy Nachman.
Oh, I wouldn't go around with him if I were you.
Why not?
His father picked his nose during his own wedding ceremony.
What does that have to do with anything?
I was a bridesmaid. I saw it. Dr. Solomon was just about to say the blessing, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I saw Max Knockham take his index finger and...
Reba, for God's sake!
Well,
Ferdy Nachman is 4 years younger than you are.
So what?
You'd be a laughing stock.
Says you.
Call Lake Charles.
I've got to get ready to go.
Where are you going?
To town.
Town? What for?
The premiere.
You don't have a ticket to the premiere.
I don't care. I'll get to see everything.
You mean you're planning to go down there and stand out on the street?
Yes.
Are you crazy?
I want to feel the excitement in the crowd, to taste it, to smell it.
why would you want to smell a lot of people you don't know?
She doesn't mean that literally, Reba.
Oh. That is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of. Running off downtown by yourself in the dark.
You don't understand. I have to.
Have to?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I might as well go ahead and tell you the news.
What news?
I'm writing a novel.
Oh, my Lord.
It takes place in Atlanta during the Reconstruction period, and the title is Though Your Sins Be Scarlet.
Well, I swan. Good for you.
But now promise y'all won't say a word about it to anybody till the publication date is set.
Publication date? How much of this novel have you got written?
I know exactly how it's gonna end, and I thought of the first sentence this afternoon. From where she sat atop the weathered buckboard wagon, Roper Ragsdale could see the charred and twisted remains of her beloved plantation.
Roper Ragsdale.
My heroine, short for Europa. I found it in a book of poems. Anyway, that's why I have to go be at the premiere.
Exactly what is why?
Well, Mama, obviously my novel will be more than likely made into a movie, so I need to go and see what a premiere is like.
The child has a point, Boo.
She does not have a point, and I think you to stay out of this. Lana, for the life of me, I don't know why you waste your time with all this utter foolishness when you could easily do something much more constructive.
Like what?
Phone that wheel boy in Lake Charles.
Mama!
I know what I'm talking about.
My novel is not foolishness.
Your novel does not exist, and the wheel boy does.
Your mama has a point.
You didn't listen to me up at the University of Michigan, and look what happened. You got so
That
humiliated.
wasn't my fault.
It was that awful sorority.
The fault does not lie with Delta Sigma Tau. You didn't prepare for Rush Week.
Mama!
I told you to prepare something peppy and interesting, topics to discuss, and of course you paid me no mind, and look what happened. You were rejected.
I was accepted in AE5.
That's true.
Ha! AE5. Nobody but the other kind belongs to AE5, and the whole world knows it.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
You do better. You keep making the same mistakes over and over. Your place in society sits there waiting for you, and you do nothing about it.
Guess what, Mama? We're Jews. We have no place in society.
We most certainly do. Maybe not right up there at the tip top with the best set of Christians, but we come mighty close. After all, your great-grandmother's cousin Clemmy was the first white child born in Atlanta.
God knows I've had that information drilled into my skull enough times.
Then why hasn't it sunk in? Why don't you use your connections and your birthright to make something of yourself instead of mooning over nonsense like tree trimming and movie premieres?
Only you could manage to ruin Christmas and Gone with the Wind in one fell swoop.
Poor thing. I think she must be constipated.
matter with her. I don't know how hard it can be to pick up a telephone and place a call to Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Her head is full of that novel she's writing.
Reba, she is no more writing a novel than I am entering the Miss Georgia Beauty Contest.
So she said she was.
Yes, and last month she was making up scripts for Our Gal Sunday to go on the radio. And before that, she said she was becoming an illustrator for the Saturday Evening Post. I think she dreams up all that trash just to torture me. Doesn't she know that life is passing her by? She's the only girl in her crowd that isn't married.
The Dolman girl isn't married.
Well, of course she's not married. How could she be married? She's in Milledgeville in an insane asylum.
People get married in insane asylums all the time.
That's jails, Reba. People get married in jails.
Oh,
And Babette Dolman was never in Layla's crowd to begin with.
she most certainly was.
What? I ought to know who was and who wasn't in my own daughter's crowd.
Then how come you invited her to that Easter egg hunt you had for Lala that loved that time?
That was 20 years ago. They were 2 years old.
Oh, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I blame Lala's whole situation on the red measles.
Uh-huh.
She was the cutest baby there ever was. She had so many birthday party invitations in nursery school that I ran out of ideas for presents to give. And then, the first week of kindergarten, she came down with the red measles, the very first week. And of course, by the time she was well enough to go back to school, all the popular children had formed their attachments, and no matter how hard she tried or I tried for her, she was never able to catch up.
She's such a sweet little thing.
Then why is she so unpopular?
Well, she gets herself so worked up when she's out in society. I think she scares people off.
And now this Ballyhoo business.
Oh, heavens. Sonny doesn't have a date to Ballyhoo either, and I never give it a second thought.
Sonny has college to occupy her mind. I tell you, Reba, sometimes I can almost hear God sitting up there in the sky giggling his head off at the joke he played on me.
Never thought of God playing jokes.
Well, what else would you call it? You have a daughter blooming like a rose at Wellesley, and I have a daughter who snuck home in disgrace from the University of Michigan in the middle of her first term. I was never so embarrassed in my life.
She said she was homesick.
And luckily everyone in Atlanta believed it.
Luckily, it's common knowledge that homesickness is a serious problem in your family.
It is not.
What? You were so homesick on your wedding trip that DeWalt had to bring you back home from Point Clear 5 days early.
That's the silliest thing I ever heard in my life. DeWalt was called home for a business meeting.
Oh, I know that's what you said to everybody, but your mother told me the truth.
What truth?
Didn't I ever tell you this? The day before your brother and I married, your mother said to me, "Now, Rebecca, I don't want you making a fool of yourself on your wedding trip and mortifying everybody in the family like Beulah did." And of course I didn't. Simon and I stayed our full 2 weeks at Tybee Island.
Yes. And Simon told Mama what happened on your wedding night, and Mama repeated it to me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Simon told Mama he came to get in bed with you on your wedding night, and you were sitting there with a thermometer stuck in your mouth.
I felt flush. I didn't want him to catch anything.
Talk about making a fool of yourself on your wedding trip.
What are you doing?
What do you mean? What am I doing?
Well, look at you. You're just throwing clumps of tinsel at that poor tree. It's supposed to go on strand by strand.
Thank you. I didn't realize I had the honor of decorating with a tinsel expert.
Evening.
Evening, Adolf.
Tree looks fine.
Thank you, kind sir.
Stars. A new addition.
Ain't it grand? Compliments, la. Don't worry. We had words about it and it's coming down.
I like it.
Oh, Adolf, you do not.
Sorry. I keep forgetting you know the inner workings of my mind better than I do. Do I smell noodle soup?
You smell Brunswick stew.
Oh, well, good. We've got company.
Company.
Asked a fellow home from the office.
You know Louise has been out sick all week. You could have phoned me.
We'll manage.
We will we? What time is he coming?
The front doorbell rings. Adolf admits Joe Farkas.
Joe Farkas, my sister-in-law, Mrs. Freetag,
How are you?
and my sister, Mrs. Levy.
How are you?
How do you do?
No complaints?
Is this your first trip to Atlanta, Mr. Farkas?
He ain't visiting, boo. He's working for me.
Since
2
when?
weeks ago.
I see. My brother's real good at separating the family business from the family. He keeps everything concerning the Dixie Bedding Corporation a deep, dark secret. He thinks we're too stupid to understand anything.
Maybe he's just protecting you.
Maybe I'm just protecting the Dixie Bedding Corporation.
You might ask my brother sometimes who worked like an Egyptian slave when the company first started.
I bet he can guess.
You were at Dixie Bedded.
Until I married.
Oh yeah? Doing what?
Probably just about what you're doing now. Am I allowed to know what Mr. Farkas does, or is it too complicated for my tiny brain to grasp?
Joe, if you don't mind.
He's gonna do some traveling for me, look in some of the stores, take care of a few things here.
I see. My brother obviously has plans for you, young man.
Joe.
You surely picked an exciting time to be in Atlanta, Mr. Farkas. Joe.
Yeah. They were putting up a police barricade all over the place downtown tonight. That must be some movie they got there.
We have tickets for this Sunday afternoon.
No fooling.
What part of New York City are you from, Joe?
You've got a good ear, Miss Levy. Eastern Parkway.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wonder if you know my cousin Nellie Nadler from Charleston? She's married to a man named Charles Himmelfarb, and they live in 1106 Madison Avenue. I always remember that because Nellie's birthday is November 6th, 11/6 and 11/6.
I believe the Eastern Parkway is in Brooklyn, Reba.
Right again.
Oh.
He couldn't possibly know your cousin Nellie.
I don't know her, Miss Freetag, but I bet she's a nice lady.
She is, and she makes every stitch of her clothes by hand, except her girdles and her brassieres.
Reba, I need you in the kitchen.
Our cook has been homesick all week.
I hope I'm not causing you too much trouble.
Oh no!
None whatsoever.
Piece of the paper, Joe?
Thanks.
Adolf sits in his easy chair and picks up the front section of the paper. He hands the second section to Joe. Adolf opens his section and disappears behind it. The huge banner headline deals with the Gone with the Wind opening.
I'm afraid I got a confession to make you, Mr. A.
Yeah? What's that?
I'm a little out of my element here.
Element.
This Gone with the Wind stuff.
You never read Gone with the Wind?
No.
A man after my own heart.
You didn't either.
Well, I flipped through a few pages a couple times. I never could make myself get the hang of it.
No kidding.
Don't tell anybody.
You bet.
Settled at the Y now, all right?
Yes, sir. And thanks for the tip. Even found a couple of guys to play handball with.
Good.
Of course, my mom wasn't too thrilled with a nice Jewish boy living in the Young Men's Christian Association.
Yeah?
I told her, relax, Ma. What do you think? They put conversing powder in the tap water?
Oh, and Lala. Joe Farkas, new fellow works at the house, works at the office. Lala, my niece.
Good to see you.
Hey,
Now you all somewhere?
the world premiere.
By yourself?
Honestly, Uncle Adolf, of course not. Eugene Selig and Harold Lilienthal both asked me. I couldn't make up my mind which to pick, so we're all three going together.
I see. Well, it's too bad Joe didn't know in time. He's a big fan of Gone with the Wind.
Really?
Your uncle's teasing. Truth is, I haven't gotten around to reading it yet.
I bet you're the only person in this town who can say that.
Absolutely.
Sounds like you got an exciting evening ahead of you.
Yes.
Premiere and everything.
I tell you what, let's you and I eat here with the folks, and then we can go downtown together and see all the celebrities come out when the movie's over.
I wonder what your two boyfriends would say to that.
Gene and Harold Fiddledee-Dee, they can just have a date with each other for all I care.
Gee, shouldn't do that on my account.
The supper served.
I never met a Farkas before.
Yeah, and I seem to be a rare bird down here.
Is that a New York City name?
More or less.
Oh, good. You must know all the smart supper clubs in Manhattan.
Well, truth is, I've
Which is your favorite?
never been to one in my life.
I need to know. I'll more than likely be going to New York very soon.
No kidding. What for?
Boo sees Adolf picking at the serving dishes and slaps his hand.
Stop that.
To meet with publishers about the novel I'm writing.
Oh my God.
Lindsay!
Welcome to Atlanta, Joe.
And scene. Scene 2. When the lights come up again, it is an hour later. Dinner is over. Reba is making trips on and off stage from the dining room, clearing the table. Lala and Joe are in the living room. Adolf is back in his easy chair with the newspaper, fast asleep.
Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
From where she sat atop the weathered buckboard wagon, Roper Ragsdale could see the charred and twisted remains of her beloved plantation.
Good. Real good.
At first, I had an old family home, but I think beloved plantation has more charm, don't you think? I think I have it!
What?
Havisham Hall! Isn't that beautiful, Havisham Hall?
Uh-huh. After your street here.
I wasn't thinking of it that way, but yes, of course. This is just about the best address in Atlanta. Did you know that?
Not really.
You have only to look at the mailboxes up and down the street, and you'll see half the membership of the Junior League.
Huh.
I'll have you know that we are the only Jews on Havisham Road, except for the one house way on the other side of Pace's Ferry where it gets tacky.
You think your uncle is okay?
Of course! He's just having what we call his pre-snooze. He does this all the time.
I'm not surprised that they always feed him like this.
We know good food in this house. Nobody would deny that.
I sure wouldn't.
Neither would my Sonny.
Sonny.
My daughter.
Daughter.
That's right.
Sonny's a boy's name in my neighborhood.
Not that kind of Sonny. That kind of Sonny. Because she was born in the middle of a terrible storm.
I don't get it.
Well, we certainly couldn't name her Cloudy, could we?
No, guess not.
Louisa had better come back to work tomorrow. That's all I have to say.
I would have been glad to help, Miss Levy. I know my way around the kitchen pretty well.
You?
Yes, ma'am.
Whoever heard of such a thing?
Oh, my ma, me and my brother's drying dishes as soon as we could stand on a stool and reach the sink.
That's adorable.
If you want half your china broken.
We all cook too. She's taught us to make a few staples from the old country.
Old country.
Russia, Poland, Hungary. My family came from everywhere.
Adolf has never crossed the threshold of kitchen in his life, except to pick out of the icebox in the middle of the night.
Ain't I the limit?
There, that's all of it.
Why isn't your daughter here, Miss Freitag?
She's away at school.
Wellesley.
Really?
She got the brains. I got the moxie.
Oh, little boy tells me you went to college too.
What?
Yeah, college.
College? Who told you about that?
About what?
Lala attended the University of Michigan for a short time, but she missed all the social goings on around here so much that she came home.
Yes, I came home.
And we were thrilled to have her.
Tell me, Joe, will you be going up to your home for Christmas?
No, ma'am. My boss here keeps me hopping too much for that, but that's okay. My family doesn't celebrate Christmas.
I see.
I'll be home for Pesach, though.
Pesach?
Passover.
You remember, Lala. That time we went to the Seder supper with one of Daddy's business acquaintances. I believe their name was Lipson. They lived over on Boulevard or somewhere. You were in the 6th grade. It was very interesting.
I was in the 5th grade and I spilled a glass of red wine all over the tablecloth.
Right. One of us does that almost every year. Part of the ritual.
You have to sit through one of those boring things every single year? One night of all that extra was enough to last me the rest of my life.
Now, Lala, be tolerant.
I sit through 2 every year. First, I have Aunt Sadie's second night at home.
Poor baby.
Are you kidding? I wouldn't miss either one of them for anything in the world.
Now, they have those in the spring, don't they?
Yes, ma'am. That's right. March or April.
Good, then you'll be here for Ballyhoo.
Lala.
What's Ballyhoo?
What's Ballyhoo? Why, Joe, what a question. But of course you are a Yankee.
The young people come from all over the South.
Savannah, Chattanooga, and Charleston.
Even Richmond and New Orleans.
I get it, like a convention.
Oh, no.
Not at all like a convention. No name tags or talks of business of any kind.
Hay rides and weenie roasts and parties, and the last night, a dance.
Don't say.
It all started in Macon.
It started in Gulfport.
I happen to know it started in Macon. Mattia Lowenstein was there.
Of course she was there. She's always there. She lives in Macon.
A bunch of young people were having a picnic on Mattia's sister-in-law's side porch after the second daughter's wedding, so that Creasebigger boy from Chattanooga, the summer after the war ended. I believe it was the 4th of July weekend, and Mattia told me they were enjoying each other so much that they decided they would all get together again in Atlanta at Christmas time.
Mattia Lowenstein is a known liar.
Oh, boo! She was in my confirmation class.
Mattia Lowenstein isn't worth the gunpowder it would take to blow her up. It started in Gulfport after Mr. Nathan Solomon's 95th birthday party. It was all his grandchildren and the Rosenheim boys that thought it up.
It started in Macon.
Adolf! Adolf!
Well,
Will you tell this young man where Ballyhoo started?
what the hell would he care about a stupid thing like that?
Oh, I think he might care a little. Am I right, Joe?
Well, yeah, it's very interesting.
Especially if you're planning on going this year.
Going. Oh, say, they must be getting late.
Silly, it's not even 9 o'clock. The movie's still on. We have oodles of time to drive downtown and see the stars come out, and then we can meet the crowd at the Ansley roof.
You know, sounds like a lot of fun, Lala, but I got a train to catch at 6:30 in the morning, so I better call it a night.
But no sugar pie. You heard Mr. Farkas. He has a train to catch in the morning and all that important Dixie Bedding Company business to attend to. He really must be going. It was so good to have met you.
Yeah, great meal, Miss Levy. You too, Miss Freetag. Night, Mr. A.
Have a safe trip, Joe.
Well now, never you mind.
Mind? Mind what? I believe I'll go up to my room and see what's on the radio. Stop looking at me!
Adolf, that kike you hired has no manners.
End scene. Scene 3. In the dark, we hear the voice of a railroad conductor. Baltimore, the stop is Baltimore. Baltimore coming up. Lights up on a small sleeping compartment of the Crescent Limited 5 days later. Sonny Freetag, 20 years old, is alone reading a book.
Yes.
Miss Freetag? Sonny Freetag?
Yes.
Joe Farkas, pleased to meet you.
I don't understand.
Great. Uncle Adolf asked me to look in on you.
What?
See if you need anything.
Oh, thank you.
What?
What?
What do you need?
Oh, nothing.
Because he gave me a little extra cash.
No.
To give you. Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
What are you reading?
The Prophets of Religion, Upton Sinclair.
Upton Sinclair, huh? The glorious unwashed masses and the beauty of the working class. You really enjoy reading this stuff.
Yes.
Eugene V. Debs too?
Yes.
Oh boy.
What?
Sure did peg you for a communist.
Reading Sinclair and Debs doesn't make a person a communist.
You don't know my Uncle Velvel.
Uncle what?
Velvel.
Velvel?
It's Jewish for William.
Oh. Well, I'm not a communist.
That's a relief.
I'm a sociology major.
Wellesley, I know.
Who told you?
Your family. I work for Mr. A.
Mr. A?
I'm Uncle Adolf.
In Baltimore?
Atlanta.
You don't sound like Atlanta.
Sorry.
No, I didn't mean. I just. Never mind.
You do.
I do what?
Sound like Atlanta. It's nice.
Oh.
So, I happened to be in town here on a little business, and Mr. A said, would I mind giving you a look-see in case you needed anything? What's the matter?
Nothing.
Come on.
It boggles the mind.
What?
I'm a junior at Wellesley with an A- average, and Uncle Adolf still treats me like a baby.
Why do you say that?
He doesn't even think I can take a train home by myself.
Oh, I think he just loves you a lot. And I really did just happen to be in Baltimore. So how come the minus?
What?
You mentioned your average was A minus.
Oh, I had trouble with zoology last year. What was yours?
0. I didn't go. Well, I did kind of. I went to art school,
Don't they have grades in art school?
I guess. I was only there for 5 weeks.
Why?
My father died. I had to go to work.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Well, it was a long time ago.
I hope you kept up with your artwork.
When I get the chance. I guess you've got a lot lined up over Christmas vacation.
A lot of work.
So you won't be going to this Ballyhoo thing.
Did Uncle Adolf tell you about that?
No, because of Lala.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was dropping plenty of hints.
Hints?
I think she wants me to take her.
Oh. And?
I pretty well sidestepped the issue.
You was smart.
How's that?
Ballyhoo is asinine.
Yeah? Why?
Oh, you know, just a lot of dressed up Jews dancing around, wishing they could kiss their elbows and turn into Episcopalians.
Sounds pretty terrible.
It is.
Want to go with me?
All aboard! All aboard!
Word is I'm a good dancer.
I'm not.
Baloney. I gotta get to work. Take it over.
End scene. Scene 4. The Freetag house. It's 8 a.m. the following morning. A pile of wrapped presents is under the Christmas tree, which is now minus its star. The remains of breakfast are on the dining room table where Adolf sits with his coffee, going over some paperwork. Reba, in a housecoat, is cleaning up. Boo comes in from outdoors, carrying the morning paper, which she hands to Adolf. She appears to be agitated.
I just saw Louisa.
Oh, praise be! I was afraid she would never recover.
Recover? Ha! She was never sick.
What are you talking about?
I saw her when I went down the driveway to pick up the Constitution. She was going up the Arkwright's driveway across the street.
I don't understand. Why was she doing that?
That's what I asked her. I said, aren't you walking up the wrong driveway, Louisa?
And what did she say?
She said no, she was walking up the right driveway because she works for the Arkwrights now.
How can she work for them when she works for us?
What is the matter with you, Reba? She doesn't work for us. She quit. That's what I'm telling you.
Oh. Why?
I asked her. I said, why? And she looked at me in the face cold as ice and she said, you know exactly why. And then she said to tell you, hey, and that she knows she has your red umbrella and she'll get it back to you.
Oh, how sweet.
Sweet! You'll never see that umbrella again as long as you're walking on this earth. I can promise you that. Louisa is a liar, standing there in the street right up next to my face and telling me I know why she snuck off and abandoned us. I have no idea in the world what she was talking about. Well, what?
You did accuse her of stealing pocket change off of Adolph's bureau. I heard you.
I did no such thing. I merely pointed out to her that the money was missing and inquired politely if she knew what might have happened to it.
All right, then.
Louisa's probably over there telling the Arkwrights all kinds of stories about us this very minute. And Mary Grace Arkwright already looks at me like I have horns and a tail. I don't know how I'm ever going to be able to go down the driveway again.
I think you have to give Louisa more credit. I'm sure she will have something nice to say about your peach ice cream. She's crazy about your peach ice cream.
Well, all I know is that it's 4 days before Christmas and we'll never find anybody worth having now.
I suppose.
We may never find anybody at all with Louisa running her big mouth to every single solitary maid and cook and chauffeur riding back and forth to work on the Peachtree trolley with her.
Oh, I feel sure we'll be able to find somebody perfectly fine after the first of the year.
Yes, and you and I are stuck with all the picking up, all the cleaning, all the cooking, and all the everything else in the meantime.
Why not?
Did you say something, Adolf?
I said, why not? What else do you have to do so much? You ready to go, Reba?
I'm all dressed but my dress.
What's the matter with you?
Well, this Hitler business in Poland ain't gonna turn out good.
Oh, stop worrying about Poland so much and give a thought to your own flesh and blood for a change.
What are you talking about?
That was a fine thing to say to me.
What?
That I don't have anything better to do than to take care of this house.
Just speaking the truth.
And another thing, I don't see why you have to go running off to meet Sonny at the train. Reba is perfectly capable of finding Brookwood Station by herself.
I don't have to, I want to.
You never meet Lala.
I would if she went somewhere.
She went to that wedding in Birmingham last month. You make it sound like all she does is lie up there on her bed and listen to the radio.
You said that, I didn't.
Lala does plenty. She took that literature course at Agnes Scott last year. She volunteers at Eggleston Hospital when she can. She has that regular Thursday afternoon bridge game.
Fine.
Sonny isn't a direct pipeline to the Lord Almighty, you know.
Who said she was?
That's how you treat her.
Oh, for God's sake, Beulah! Maybe you forgot how Simon looked after us all when Papa died.
He had to. He was the oldest.
Maybe he had to support Mama, but he didn't have to put me all the way through tech, and Lord knows he didn't have to buy you that trousseau you raised such hell over, and all that damn sterling silver. That's when he was just getting Dixie Benton started, and I know for a fact he didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. He must have borrowed and squeezed and cut all kinds of corners. I know he worried himself sick over his obligations to all of us, and I know that's what landed him in Oakland Cemetery a good 25 years ahead of schedule, and I'll be goddamned if I have to justify myself to you if I feel like meeting his daughter at the train when she comes home from college.
You get yourself so worked up, you'll be laying out there beside Simon if you don't look out.
Reba, hurry it up! We don't want to be late.
Right down.
Adolph, calm down.
I want to be there on time. Do you mind?
I mind how you do Lala. Her daddy is every bit as dead and gone as Simon's is.
Yeah. Men don't stand much of a chance around here.
And when I think how you did him, here you are fawning over that awful boy from Brooklyn, that Joe person, like he was the crown prince of Denmark, and the only brother-in-law you ever had you treated like dirt.
Beulah, that is not so.
Yes! You never gave DeWalt the Chinaman's chance where Dixie Benton was concerned. I always got better grades in arithmetic.
Oh my God, don't start bringing up all
Either
that!
one of you, and what good did it do me? I was completely shut out of the business, completely shut out.
Did I ask you to marry and stay home? Did I ask you to have a baby? Did Simon? No. He did all that on your own. You did all that on your own without instructions from your brothers. And as for DeWalt, we tried him in the front office. We tried him in sales. We tried him in the factory. You know that.
Maybe DeWalt wasn't as smart as all of us, but he was a good man. And it was a shame how you two did him.
Oh, some shame. We damn well supported him most of his life.
Even now, you can't say a decent word where he's concerned. It hurts my feelings.
Do these shoes look funny?
No.
Let's go, Reba.
Bye.
Boo.
What?
DeWalt had beautiful table manners.
That's more than anybody could say about you.
The telephone rings. She picks up the phone.
Hello? What? Oh, this is Beulah Levy. Who's this? Sylvan Wheel? Of course I know who you are, Sylvan. Your Aunt Ethel and I spent part of our summer together down at Point Clear. Oh, ages ago. Yes, we were just girls. Tell me, Sylvan, does she still have that limp? Oh, bless her heart. Why, yes, Lala most certainly is at home. Lala! Oh, Lala! Telephone for you. What? It's the wheel boy. Peachy? Hey, stranger. I thought you fell in the bayou or something. Uh-huh. Oh, Peachy. What, you call that good news? I guess so. Peachy. Okay, bye. Well, what'd he say?
He said to tell you he enjoyed meeting you over the phone.
What else?
He's coming to Atlanta.
I see.
The
When?
day before Christmas.
I knew it, Mama! Did Sylvan Wheel ask you to go to Ballyhoo with him?
Peachy, Mama. Everybody calls him Peachy.
He did, didn't he? He asked you.
He didn't mention Ballyhoo. He just said he'd be in Atlanta with his parents for the Zacharias' golden wedding anniversary.
Of course. I should have thought of that. Mr. Zacharias is his great uncle. His father's mother was a Zacharias from Hattiesburg. Oh, tell me, does he have that ugly red hair?
Yes.
Oh, I was afraid of that. They all do. Well, we won't worry about it. In the great scheme of things, it could be a lot worse. Are you sure he didn't mention Ballyhoo?
Maybe he doesn't know about it.
La, every Jewish boy in the South would have a brain in his noggin and knows about Ballyhoo. You should have brought it up.
Mama, do you want me to sound desperate?
A fact is a fact, daughter. And the fact is it would be a shot in the arm to your situation to be seen at Ballyhoo with a wheel from Louisiana.
I don't have a
The
situation.
subject is closed.
I can do better than Peachy Wheel.
No, you can't.
I may have other plans for Ballyhoo.
You do not. Fernie Nachman is taking little Carol Strauss. Her mother told me at the meat counter yesterday afternoon.
She picks up the phone.
What are you doing?
I'm going to phone that wheel boy's Aunt Ethel and find out what's what.
Mama, you haven't been in touch with that woman for 30 years.
He told me she lives in Baton Rouge now. I wonder if she's married. Oh, she couldn't be with that limp.
Mama!
Operator, connect me with Miss S. Ethel Wheel in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
End scene. Scene 5. 11 o'clock that night. Sonny and Adolph are playing gin at a card table. Reba sits nearby, knitting away on her argyle socks. There's a feeling of warmth in the room. Adolph and Sonny play a couple of tricks silently.
Knock on 6.
No! 3, 9, 20, that's 23 points for you. I liked it when you used to let me win.
I never let you
Then
win.
how come I used to beat you all the time?
Maybe Wellesley is making you stupid.
Uncle Adolph! Do you think that's possible, Adolph?
She's teasing me, Mama.
Because higher education can lead to insanity.
What?
Yes! You remember Adolph, one of the Feigenbaum girls.
The Feigenbaum sisters. Who could forget?
They lived on Georgia Avenue just across from the trolley barn. There were 7 of them, one more hideous than the next.
And your mother is being generous.
So she was insane because she was ugly.
No, not at all. In fact, she was the least hideous one.
There's a compliment for you.
Viola was her name, Viola Feigenbaum. And she was the smartest, too. At least, she was the only one that went on to college. She attended Peabody Normal.
Peabody Normal?
In Nashville.
She was studying to be a teacher, but then she went crazy in the train.
Crazy in the train? What does that mean?
Well, her papa put her on the NC in St. L to Nashville so she could start her 2nd year at Peabody Normal, and she was as sane as you or I right this minute. Then, 1 hour after they left Terminal Station, she took off every stitch of her clothes and ran up and down the aisle, the day coach naked.
Maybe she was hot.
I don't like your tone, Sonny. They had to make an unscheduled stop in Rome to remove the poor thing from the train, rolled up in a tablecloth.
That's awful. What became of her?
She married and moved to Louisville. Her husband and his whole family never knew a thing in the world about it.
They didn't hear through the Southern Jewish grapevine? How is that possible?
Well, they were the other kind.
Other kind? Other kind of what?
You know perfectly well what I mean.
Explain it to me.
Stop teasing your mother.
I'm not teasing. I really want to know.
East of the Elbe.
What?
Well, that's how Grandma used to explain it.
What's the Elba?
Well, I believe it's a river somewhere.
Separates Germany from Czechoslovakia.
Yes, and west of it is us, and east of it is the other kind.
But why are they the other kind?
Well, they just are.
How can you tell?
The way they look.
That's preposterous. Are you saying you could pick 100 Jews off the street at random and tell who's what kind just by looking at them?
Sure. The German Jews would be the ugly ones. Well, I mean, men. And of course, the Feigenbaum sisters.
It's a lot of mumbo jumbo and you both know it. And don't tell me they talk louder. Nobody talks louder than Aunt Boo.
That's for sure.
And don't tell me they act funny either because...
Oh, now, don't you say one word about your cousin Lala. She does the best she can.
I rest my case. Jim.
24, I'll let you win.
You just now said you never let me win.
So I did.
I really beat you then.
Maybe. But I don't want you to feel good about it.
I missed you, Uncle Adolf.
Yeah? How's school?
Fine if you don't count botany.
You took botany last year.
That was zoology.
What's the matter with botany?
Field trips, they're freezing.
Well, I'm knitting as fast as I
I see
can.
that. Thank you, Mama. I stayed up so late studying for the last quiz, I got all mixed up.
You did.
Yes, I said that leather grew on trees and rubber came from animals.
I think I'll go on upstairs. Night, sugar. I'm glad you're home. Night, Adolf.
Night.
Isn't it silly asking about rubber animals on a botany quiz?
What?
I went in your daddy's office one morning to ask him a question about an ad we were going to run. Oh, I'd say it was about 20 years ago. Anyway, I noticed he slid something he was looking at under a pile of manila folders real quick, like he didn't want me to see. And we talked about the ad a little bit, and all the time I kept looking at that pile of folders, wondering what the hell he was up to. I ever tell you this? So a couple of hours later, he went to the bank, and of course I hightailed it into his office. I closed the door and I walked over to his desk and I moved the folders, and guess what I saw?
What?
A catalog from Smith, a catalog from Vassar, and a catalog from Wellesley. He was researching colleges for you when you were 6 months old. Wouldn't he be tickled tonight?
Hey,
Well, how was the movie?
exactly the same as it was the other time.
Mama, how can you say that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did Scarlet and Red do something different this time? I must have missed it.
That's not the point. Nobody can take in a masterpiece in one viewing. I came away with so much more tonight. I could watch it 1,000 times.
You know, I believe we're going to make money out of you yet, Lila.
What are you talking about?
The girl is a natural born usherette.
Adolf. He's joking, sugar. Any calls?
Cole.
Valala, would you relax, Mama? You know Peachy's coming to Atlanta.
But I need to know more than that. I need to know for a fact he's taking you to the dance and that his aunt of his doesn't answer her phone. Why have you still got your coat on? Are you cold?
No,
Are you catching something?
I already caught it.
I knew you were looking right. Where does it hurt?
Stop it, Mama. I'm not sick. I feel divine.
What in the world has got into you?
Remember in the intermission when you went to the restroom and I waited in the lobby?
Yes.
Lala opens her coat and pulls out a 9x12 glossy photograph.
Look!
Oh, golly, how did you get there?
I was waiting for you to come out of the restroom and I was looking at the pictures they had over in the corner, scenes of the movie, and it looked like they were in frames, but they weren't. They were just slid in slots that looked like frames, so I slid one out!
I didn't see it.
I know, I slipped it under my sweater, and then while you were watching Scarlett shoot the Yankee deserter on the stairs of terror, I hid it in my coat.
Usherette, hell, we can send her out in crowds to pickpockets.
That is not funny, Adolf. It's a crime.
Oh, Aunt Boo, the lowest grade isn't gonna miss one silly little photograph.
How dare you! It is not silly. It is Scarlett in her barbecue dress. It's magnificent.
Somebody's driving up the driveway.
Oh my God, it's the police.
I don't care. It was worth it.
I feel pretty sure the Atlanta Police Department has better things to do than track down our little picture mapper here.
Well, who would be driving up here in the middle of the night then?
Doorbell sounds. Adolf opens the front door.
I saw the lights on.
Well, well, look what the cat drug in.
Hiya. Ma'am? I came right from the station. I brought you those sales figures from Washington.
Yeah, thanks. You could have waited till the office tomorrow, Joe.
Certainly could have.
Well, I thought maybe you'd want to give them a look-see tonight, and like I said, I saw the lights.
Yeah. Trip fine.
Yes, sir. I think I took care of everything. Hi. How's your pal Upton Sinclair?
Oh, he's fine.
Upton who?
Nobody you know, Lala.
I see you got home in one piece.
Yes.
How come y'all know each other?
Uncle Adolf got Mr. Farkas to make sure I didn't fall off the train.
What?
Looks like you did a good job. I don't see any bruises.
How was the rest of your train trip?
Fine, thank you. How was yours?
Not bad?
Seen Gone with the Wind yet, Joe?
No, not yet.
It's a dream. Isn't it a dream, Mama? Dreams don't last 4 hours.
You've done an awful lot of traveling the past few days. You must be worn out, Mr. Farkas.
No, I'm fine. I'm used to it. And it's Joe.
Joe.
I like the way you say that.
Certainly late to be entertaining company.
Then why don't you go to bed?
I didn't say I was sleepy. I said it was late to have company in the house.
How'd it be going?
Good night.
Don't be silly. We can't send this boy off on an empty stomach. He's been traveling all day. We got any of that angel cake left from dinner?
Not after you attacked it.
Of course we do. Go on out in the kitchen and cut him a piece. And why don't you fix some coffee while you're at it?
Sounds good. I mean, if it's no trouble.
Of course it's no
Oh,
trouble.
really?
I'll do it, Auntie.
You don't know how to fix coffee.
Yes, I do. I make it in the dorm all the time.
I can imagine what that must taste like. I'll do it, Uncle Adolf.
Thank you.
Drinking coffee this late gives people gas.
Come on in, Joe. You'll have to forgive my sister's bad temper. She was looking at Clark Gable for 4 hours, and then she had to come home and look at me. You know, Joe, I used to be a traveling man just like you.
Don't say.
When my brother was running the company, trains were a mess in those days. Windows wide open most of the year. Soot played hell with your collars and your cuffs.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well, I think I'm gonna go look over those sales figures. I'll see you in the morning, Joe.
Yes, sir, Mr. A.
And if you do get gas, for God's sake, don't let on to your Aunt Boo.
Night, Uncle Adolf. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
How'd you get to Atlanta? And don't tell me you came on the train.
Actually, I drove down. Okay, I was selling mattresses at Macy's Herald Square, and they offered me assistant bedding buyer at the store in D.C., and then the store across the street asked me to assistant manage, and then that chain got taken over by Dixie Bedding, and one day your Uncle Adolf came in to check us over, and he hired me to work for him. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Can I ask you something?
All right.
Are you people really Jewish?
Afraid so, 100% all the way back on both sides.
Afraid so.
Oh, you know what I mean.
Yeah. You mean you're afraid you're Jewish?
No, of course not. That's just an expression.
Okay. What do you mean?
I don't think I mean anything. It was just something to say. Can we please talk about something else?
Sure. Nice Christmas tree.
Thank you.
Family tradition, is it?
I've had Christmas trees my whole life, if that's what you mean.
That's what I mean.
Is there something wrong with that?
No, hey, I'm just trying to get the lay of the land down here. You know, smoke out the local customs.
Everybody I know has a Christmas tree. It doesn't mean we're not Jewish.
Right, it just means you don't want to be.
Whether I want to be or not, I am, and there's not much I can do about it.
Sure there is. For starters, you can anglicize your name.
Sunny Friday. Sounds like a weather report.
Or a striptease artist.
I just call myself Sunny O'Houlihan, and everybody around here would still know what I am.
So what?
It hurts sometimes.
I know.
No, I don't think you do.
What do you mean?
I imagine you grew up in a Jewish neighborhood. You were like everybody else. I grew up on Havisham Road.
Only 2 Jewish mailboxes and the other one is down at the tacky end of the street where it doesn't count.
You've been talking to Lala.
Yep.
Well, see, that's all we wanted, to be like everybody else.
And you are.
No, we're not.
What do you mean?
The summer between 6th and 7th grade, my best friend was Vinnie Alice Sizemore. And one day, she took me swimming at the Venetian Club pool. Her parents were members. So we were with a whole bunch of kids from our class, and the boys were splashing us, and we were all shrieking, you know, and pretended we hated it, when this man in a shirt and tie came over and squatted down by the side of the pool, and he said, "Which one is Sunny Freetag?" And I said I was. And he said I had to get out of the water, and Vinnie Alice asked him why. And he said Jews weren't allowed to swim in the Venetian pool. And all the kids got very quiet, but none of them would look at me.
What'd you do?
I got out of the pool and phoned Daddy at his office. When he came to get me, all the color was drained out of his lips. I remember that.
And Venny Alice?
Oh, her mother called up Mom and apologized. We stayed friends, sort of. Neither of us ever mentioned it again, but it was always there. So believe me, I know I can't hide being Jewish.
Yeah. So how come you try to camouflage it so much?
Stop it! You think being Jewish means you have to run around in one of those little skull caps with a long white beard?
Not in your case.
I'm serious!
Well, I think being Jewish means being Jewish.
I wish you could have sat in on my comparative religions class last semester.
Why?
Professor Bernard made so much sense. She believes that all faiths are basically the same with different window dressings.
Really?
Yes, and I agree with her. I don't think what religion a person happens to be matters all that much in the modern day world.
Oh, I think it matters to some very important people.
Like who?
Like Hitler.
No fair. Hitler's an aberration. Let's limit the discussion to human beings.
Tell you what, let's drop it all together.
Why?
Because I don't want to spend my first date with a pretty girl talking about Hitler.
This isn't a date.
Not yet.
What do you mean?
If I'm not mistaken, there's a White Castle right up there in Buckhead.
There is.
You hungry?
A little.
Great. Now it's a date.
Joe, I can't just go to Buckhead at this hour of the night.
Why not?
Mama wouldn't know where I am.
Leave her a note.
She's asleep.
Then what's the difference?
I don't do things like that.
Like what? Eat hamburgers?
I wouldn't feel right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I know you're probably used to girls who
Do what?
take more chances.
You think going out with me tomorrow night is taking too much of a gamble?
No, I imagine I can handle that.
White Castle and Buckhead.
Sure. And maybe a movie first.
One qualification.
What?
Not Gone with the Wind.
Agreed.
Good for state.
Yes.
And the second one will be even better.
Second one.
Ballyhoo. We made a deal, remember?
The GD coffee pot boiled over, so it's gonna be a while.
It's okay. I really ought to be going home and getting some sleep.
You two make a deal?
We did.
Joe invited me to Ballyhoo.
I see.
However, before you commit to this 100%, there is something you should know about me.
What?
I'm not as Jewish as you are.
What are you talking about?
I have royal Russian blood.
What?
There's a story in my family about my great-grandfather and the Tsarina's grandniece, or was it my great-grandmother and the Tsar's third cousin?
Oh, really?
Either way, you should know you're going to the movies tomorrow night with part of a prince.
I'll work on my curtsy.
Yeah, you do that. So about it,
How about what?
Ballyhoo.
Okay.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.
Do me a favor.
What?
Say my name.
Joe.
I love it.
When?
What?
He just barged in here in the middle of the night and made me go to all that trouble in the kitchen for nothing.
The coffee and cake was Uncle Adolph's idea.
Anybody brought up right would have known not to accept.
I offered to fix it.
That's not the point.
Oh? What is the point?
He's a very aggressive person.
Fine. Whatever you say.
And I certainly wouldn't be seen at Ballyhoo with him.
Luckily, that's a decision you won't have to make.
Meaning what?
Meaning nothing. I'm going to bed.
Not even 24 hours in the house and you're already lording it over me.
I'm not lording it over you. I'm just tired.
Poor Miss Wellesley. It must be so exhausting to have to deal with us piddling little inferiors.
I don't think you're inferior.
Yes, you do. You always have.
This is pointless.
Remember your daddy's funeral?
What?
Uncle Simon's funeral? All those flowers and all those people. 700, I think the newspaper said. Mayor Hartsfield and that congressman, I don't know who all. Remember?
Of course. What about it?
Remember what I wore?
What you wore.
Yes.
What is wrong with you, Lala?
You don't remember. Why should you? Well, I remember what you wore to mine.
What?
My daddy's funeral. 3 months later, remember? That sad little bitty chap with hardly anybody in it and those pathetic gladiolas in the back of the coffin. It was like a mockery of what your father had. You wore an adorable navy blue suit, brand new. So were the shoes. The soles weren't even scuffed.
Why would you remember a thing like that?
Because you wanted everybody to look at you.
I did not.
Nobody wears a whole new outfit unless they want to be looked at. That was supposed to be my tragedy. You already had yours and you had to have mine too.
That is a terrible thing to say.
But it's true and you know it.
I know no such thing.
Oh, come on, Sonny. You've always gotten all the attention, even from God.
What?
He didn't give you one Jewish feature, and look at me.
That's absurd.
Look at my hair. Look at my skin. Look at my eyes. Listen to my voice. I try and I try no matter what I do to it, and it shows. There's just nothing I can do about it.
I wish you weren't so hard on yourself.
Well, you know what? You make it worse.
How?
You waltz into town for one day and finagle yourself an invitation to Ballyhoo.
My God, Lala, why do you care so much about Ballyhoo?
You care just as much as I do.
I do not. I think Ballyhoo is a
Then
joke.
why are you going?
You want me to stay home?
Yes. You say you don't care about it. Stay home.
I will.
Good.
Fine. No, I want to go.
I knew it, hypocrite.
You are the biggest wet blanket in the whole world. No wonder nobody wants to take you to Ballyhoo.
Yes, somebody does.
Oh, really?
Yes, really. And he happens to be a member of one of the finest families in the South.
Who is he?
You'll see. You'll see what happens when you come crawling to Ballyhoo with a pushy New York yid trying to suck up to his boss, and I sweep in with someone who belongs there. When I sweep in on the arm of a Louisiana wheel.
End of Act 1. 5-minute break. Act 2. Scene 1. The next morning, Boo is at her desk doing the accounting. Sonny is studying. Reba is knitting and Lala is pacing nervously.
Just call him. I can't. Why not? Because we've got to make completely sure he's taking you. Phone his Aunt Ethel again.
She did at 6:15 this morning.
How come you know so much about my business?
Because you woke me up hollering so loud.
6:15? That's 5:15 in Baton Rouge. How could you phone somebody up at 5:15 in the morning? I wanted to make sure she wasn't there when she wasn't. I can't imagine where in the world that silly woman could be keeping herself. I can't either. I don't know why she hasn't been sitting right by the phone for the last 30 years waiting for you to call. This is not the moment to run your sassy mouth. Time is of the essence. Will you call Sylvan or will I? Operator, I would like to place a long-distance call to Lake Charles, Louisiana. Person to person, to Peachy Wheel. No, not Mr. Peachy Wheel.
I didn't know you were allowed to use nicknames on long distance.
Mama, I do love you.
What did I say?
Shut up! It's ringing! No! Wallet! I got the cook. She told the operator that Peachy's not there. She said he left this morning for Atlanta with his mother and daddy. We'll just have to wait till he gets here. Oh, no, we won't. Move! Operator, get me the residence of Sylvan Wheel Sr. in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Station to station. Wheel. W-E-I-L. I just told you they're not there. What is the matter with you? Hello? Who is this? Well, hey, Hattie. Merry Christmas to you. It's Mrs. Beulah Levy. No, I don't believe we know each other. I'm an old friend of Mrs. Wheels in Atlanta. No, don't trouble yourself writing it down. I'll see her when she gets here, but do me a favor, would you please? Run on up to Mr. Peachy's closet and see if he took his tuxedo with him. Would you do that for me? Thank you so much.
You're pretty brainy, Aunt Boo.
Yes, and believe you me, if I were running the Dixie Betting Company, we'd all be rich by now.
We are rich, aren't we?
Yes, I'm still here. I see. Sure do appreciate it, Hattie. Uh-huh. Goodbye. The tuxedo isn't in his closet, and neither are his patent leather dancing shoes. I knew it. I always knew it.
Good for you, honey.
Oh, you're as good as that damn daughter, and with the finest escort in the South. Yes, Mama. Yes, I am. I told you. Oh, but what are you gonna wear? I don't know. But it's gonna cost Uncle Adolph an arm and two legs. Come downtown with me. I have the accounts to tend to. to and a pot roast to do.
Let Aunt Reba, she won't mind.
A pot roast tastes like shoe leather.
I'm not in Timbuktu, Beulah. I can hear every word you're saying.
Well, it's the truth.
Adolph loves my pot roast. He took thirds last time.
Adolph would take thirds of dog food if somebody stuck it on his plate.
Please come with me, Mama. You have such good taste in clothes.
Well, all right. Be sure you brown it carefully on low heat. And for God's sake, stay away from the garlic.
Regenstein's had a dress in the paper this morning. A holiday dream of glowing tulle and layered ruffles. What do you think?
Sounds like a lampshade.
I will not stay away from the garlic. Garlic makes a pot roast, and your Aunt Bo knows it.
Then why would she say that?
Oh, she's just trying to make sure mine won't be as good as hers. I know her tricks. It's a good thing we had babies at home in my day. That's all I have to say.
Why?
Because if you had been born in a hospital, I'd be afraid I brought home the wrong child.
Mama, what do you mean?
Well, I just admire you so much, Sugar. And I don't know where in the world you came from. You have so much sense.
Well, thank you.
And you certainly didn't inherit it from me.
Who says I did it?
Well, all I know is if there'd been Ballyhoo in my day, I would have probably carried on and acted as foolish as Lala. And here you are, perfectly content to stay home and study for your final exams and pay no mind to the whole silly rigmarole. My hat is truly off to you, sweetheart.
Mama,
Yes?
I am going to Ballyhoo.
You are? How nice! With who?
With Joe.
That good-looking boy who works for Adolph?
Yes.
Well, that's fine. And what are you going to wear?
I was thinking maybe the blue velvet I wore on David and Virginia's wedding.
Yes, it's put away in the cedar closet.
I'll go get it out.
You know, I wore blue the first time I went dancing with your daddy.
Mama.
Well, go on up and air out that dress. You wouldn't want to go to Ballyhoo smelling like a mothball. She is a little bit like me. Thank the Lord.
And Scene 2. That night, Adolph is asleep in the living room, the evening paper in his lap.
Adolph! Adolph!
What?
Close your eyes!
Okay.
Reba!
What?
You can finish it later. We're ready.
All right.
Lala descends the staircase in her formal, very gone with the wind, with a hoop skirt so wide she can barely get down the stairs. The price tag still hangs from the dress. Lala poses in the doorway to the living room.
All right, Adolph. Open your eyes.
What do you think?
Well. Scarlet O. Goldberg.
Adolph!
Very nice, Lala. You'll be the belle of the ball, I'm sure.
Oh, Uncle Adolph, you're just saying that.
No, I mean it. That is quite an outfit.
I'm so glad you like it, because it cost a weensy bit more than we planned on.
He looks at the price tag.
It's all right. I can always get a night job.
Just fooling, honey.
Well, I'll say one thing. You won't have to worry about the boys getting fresh. They won't be able to come within 6 feet of you.
Oh, God! I never thought of that. What if I can't dance in it?
Don't be silly. It's a dancing
Of
dress.
course it is.
They start to hum something like the Pink Lady Waltz, and Lala starts to waltz about the room. Lala waltzes up to Adolph.
May I have this dance, sir?
He looks at Boo, sees there is no way out, and reluctantly starts waltzing with Lala. Sonny and Joe enter.
See, I told you. The dress is fine. Sonny, look.
Lala, that's such a pretty dress.
Yep.
Can we stop now?
Why, sir, you dance divinely.
She continues pulling him around the room.
Shall we?
I'd be delighted.
Sonny and Joe start dancing too, still in their hats and coats. Joe hums loudly and happens to be a wonderful dancer.
What's this thing called?
The Purple Lady Waltz, I think.
The Pink Lady Waltz.
I was close.
Joe accidentally steps on Lala's dress.
Oh! He tore my beautiful dress!
You do not nothing but cause trouble in this house, Mr. Vargas. I hope you're happy. Come on, sugar baby. Couldn't even let her have her joy for 5 minutes.
It's just a little bitty rib. I'm sure it can be fixed.
Jeez, I'm sorry, Mr. A. I
I
can pay for the dress.
forget about it.
Pay for the dress.
Because that's good, because I can't. Look, I told you, just forget about it.
Aunt Boo just over-dramatizes sometimes.
Sometimes she's the Jewish Tallulah Bankhead.
You better hush before she comes down here and really lays into you.
Sonny, come up here and see what you think.
Okay, Mama?
Your sister doesn't like me much, huh?
Nope. She doesn't like anybody very much, if that's any comfort.
But me especially.
Yeah. What makes you say that?
I'm too Jewish.
You are.
Come on, Mr. A. You know damn well that's the reason.
I'm not my sister's keeper. Well, I guess I am my sister's keeper. But I'm not responsible for what she thinks.
You know, back up in my neighborhood, who judges? Who cares? They're just Jews.
Makes sense.
They like it. They're proud of it. They're always trying to claim everybody.
What do you mean?
You know, ball players, movie stars. Half the discussions around our dinner table were about who is and whose part. My great Aunt Gussie swears that Franklin Roosevelt's real name is Rosenfeld.
Sounds like a good, healthy attitude.
Listen, Mr. A, I gotta talk to you
Fine.
about this Ballyhoo business.
Is there a problem?
Yeah, the tickets.
I gave them to Sonny.
That's the problem.
Why?
I want to pay for them.
No.
And I don't go.
You don't understand. They were complimentary.
Yeah, sure.
Really, they were.
Why is that?
I'm a past president of the club. They send me free tickets to everything that goes on there.
The club.
Standard club.
Country club, right?
Well, it would be if it was in the country. Right now, it's a town club with delusions of grandeur.
Sounds pretty spiffy.
I wouldn't say that.
Jews only?
You bet.
No Christians allowed.
Technically, but the truth is, none of them would want to come anyway. They've got their clubs of their own, which they won't let us near.
So this is where all the Jews go.
Oh, no. We're restricted too.
What do you mean?
I mean, membership is restricted to the well-padded. As you can clearly see me by the girth of the ex-president, also well-padded in the monetary sense, of course.
I guess I'm a long way from joining, huh?
Who knows?
Still, I pay my way to this dance or I don't go.
I have no idea what those tickets are worth.
This ought to cover it.
And then some. I must be giving you too much salary.
Uncle Adolph, are you bribing him to take me out?
Other way around. He insists on paying for Ballyhoo. How's the great ball gown tragedy?
All better. Mama saved the day.
Tell your cousin I'm really sorry.
I did. She forgives you.
Such a klutz.
Oh, what?
You don't know what a klutz is.
Sorry.
Me.
Means clumsy, doesn't it?
Is that Yiddish?
It's not Norwegian.
Uncle Adolph, I'm impressed. I didn't know you spoke Yiddish.
About 5 words.
That's 5 more than me.
Well, I guess I caused enough trouble around here for one night. I better go. Gotta put up a decent day's work tomorrow.
Are you making him work on Christmas?
You bet.
Scrooge!
Good night, Mr. A.
Yeah.
Night, sunshine.
Good night.
Sunshine?
Yes.
People call you that?
No, he made it up. He's very imaginative.
Must be.
And he's such a good dancer.
I noticed.
And he has such beautiful hands.
Now that I didn't know.
So graceful and so strong. And he's very bright. I mean, don't you think, for someone who didn't even go to college?
You don't have to sell him to me, sunshine. I was sold before you were.
Good.
I probably shouldn't say this. In fact, I know I shouldn't say this because you're very young and it's basically none of my business. And also, it would send your Aunt Beulah to Piedmont Hospital. But I'm think you should hold on to this boy. I don't think they come along any finer.
I don't think so either.
And I know Simon would approve.
I do too. Uncle Adolph,
Yes,
can I ask you something?
of course.
Were you ever in love?
Yes.
What was the name?
I never found that out.
You were in love with somebody and you never found out her name.
Well, I didn't really know her. She used to ride the same Chattahoochee Avenue streetcar as I did every morning. First summer I went to work with your daddy.
What does she look like?
She had beautiful hands. They were little, soft, almost round. She had a pocketbook she held in her lap with both those pretty hands. And she had a whole lot of brown hair wound around on top of her head. She was always sitting there when I got on, and after a week or two, she'd smile over at me after I sat down. Not every morning, but sometimes just the tiniest hint of a smile.
That meant she wanted you to talk to her.
I don't think so. She smiled at everybody that same way.
Well, I hope you at least smiled back.
I did. I even smiled first once, but she got embarrassed and looked away. So after that, I just waited for her.
And so you never spoke to her?
Sort of. One day, when it was real hot, I ran my hand across my forehead and shook my head. And she did the same thing back. I thought we'd just naturally fall into a conversation after that, but then a couple of days later, I got on that streetcar and she wasn't there. She was never there again.
What happened to her?
I have no idea. I asked the motorman, but he didn't even know who I was talking about. Imagine that, a beautiful girl like her getting on and off his car every single day, and he never even noticed.
And there never was anybody else?
Not really. I went with some girls, and I suppose I could have married one of them, but in the back of my mind, I was waiting for somebody like the girl on the streetcar.
She was the love of your life.
Yeah. And you know why?
Why?
I never saw her for more than 20 minutes at a time. And I had no dealings with her whatsoever.
Stop it. You'd make somebody a wonderful husband.
Just what I need. Another female to live in this house.
Lights fade. Scene 3, 11 a.m., Christmas Day. The dining room table is set for cake and coffee, with a good silver and china. A homemade coffee cake sits on a cake pedestal in the center of the table. All that remains of the Christmas presents are ribbons, paper, and discarded boxes. Boo is putting the living room in order. Reba is standing in the front open door speaking to someone outside. She holds a red umbrella and a small wrapped gift.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And don't you be a stranger over here now. Okay, bye-bye. And tell the Arkwrights Merry Christmas.
She closes the front door, unwraps the gift, a jar of preserves. She comes into the living room.
Look, isn't this the sweetest thing? Louisa put up watermelon pickles for us. And there's a card. Happy holidays to you and Mr. Adolph and both the girls. I'm sure she means you too, Boo.
What do I care? I hate watermelon pickles.
And see, you were wrong about the umbrella. It's as good as it ever was.
Put that stuff away. He's coming any minute.
Well, he's not coming on an inspection tour.
I don't want him to think we live in a pigsty. The Wheels are famous for being meticulously neat. Where's Sonny?
Up in her room studying.
Good. I want these children to have some privacy.
From Sonny?
From everybody.
All right. I sure hope you don't have a stroke before he gets here.
How thoughtful of you.
Reba puts the umbrella in the hall closet. Adolph comes down the steps. He wears a hand-knit Argyle sweater vest.
Adolph, you didn't have to wear that.
I want to. I love it. Thank you.
Were you surprised?
Lord.
I only worked on it while you were at the office or in my room at night. I was frightened to death Boo would spill the beans.
Oh.
Well, she managed to contain herself.
Now,
I want you to promise me that you'll only wear it when you feel like it.
I promise.
Because I can't give it to the thrift shop. I wouldn't mind.
Reba, please. I'm crazy about it.
He has come into the dining room and is picking out the coffee cake with his fingers.
What are you doing? Stop that! Stop that! Oh God, eh?
It's only a cake.
It's a cooking. It's Grandma's cooking, and you ruined it.
The front doorbell sounds. Boo sticks the cake back on the table.
Lala, company. Go on.
Adolf opens the door. Peachy Wheel enters.
Peachy Wheel.
Adolf Freitag, come on in.
My cousin Harmon says you're a worse golfer than he is.
That's saying a lot. Harmon's pretty bad. You play?
Varsity at Tulane, 3 years running.
Sorry I asked.
Nice Hanukkah bush.
Lala decorated almost the whole thing by herself.
You the mother?
The aunt by marriage.
Howdy, Sylvan. I'm Beulah Lambie.
Good to see you.
My, you certainly do take after the Zacharias side of your family. I recognize that hair anywhere.
It's an attention grabber, all right.
Keeps me out of trouble, my mother says.
And is she right?
Let me put it this way. What she don't know won't hurt her.
Now, congratulations are in order, aren't they? Your Aunt Josephine and your Uncle Ike, imagine married 50 years.
To one of those two? No, thank you.
Well, goodness me. They seem to be letting all kinds of trash into decent people's homes these days.
Hey, Lila.
Hey, that's what they feed the horses and the asses.
Mama!
She always this sassy.
Me? You ought to hear some of the things Peachy comes out with. He's downright terrible.
Won't you have some coffee cake, Sylvan?
Does it have nuts in it?
Pecans, why?
I'm allergic to nuts. I would die if I ate a pecan.
Oh, no!
Well, I wouldn't.
Well, you're going to have to excuse us. We have a mountain of work to do, all made up and quit on us. And this time of year, too. Did you ever hear of such a thing?
Oh, yes. Excuse us.
I'm so sorry about the pecans. I had no idea.
Don't give it a second thought.
Would you really? I mean, die?
What do you think?
Then why did you say that?
Just came out of my mouth. I know, I'm terrible.
You really are.
My sophomore year roommate really did.
Did what?
Have a nut allergy, and somebody put peanut butter in the chocolate cake and didn't tell him.
What happened?
He died right there at the dinner table.
Oh, no, really?
What do you think?
Go home right this minute.
I can't.
What?
I have something to tell you. That's why I came over.
Tell me what?
I can't take you to Ballyhoo tomorrow night.
What?
I can't take you to Ballyhoo.
Why?
I have to take somebody else.
Who?
My cousin Sally Miles from Columbus.
Oh. Are you making this up, Peachy?
I wish I was. I feel terrible. But there's nothing I can do. They're forcing me.
Forcing you?
Dad, Uncle Ike, all of them. Sally doesn't know anybody in Atlanta and she's dying to go.
Can't somebody else take her?
There aren't any other single men in the family. Mother said she's sure you'd understand.
Did she?
I guess it won't be so bad. Sally's a nifty little dancer.
Good,
You do understand, don't you?
I guess.
Good girl. You all right?
Of course, I'm fine.
Listen, I hate to do this, but I have to ask you something, okay? I don't know anybody else to ask.
All right.
Should I buy her a white orchid or a purple orchid?
What color's the dress?
How the hell would I know?
Then I guess white.
White. Thanks.
Unless she's wearing black, then purple.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she won't be wearing black.
Why?
She's 9 years old.
What?
I swear my cousin Sally is 9 years old.
Your family is making you take a 9-year-old to Ballyhoo?
What do you think?
You're terrible!
Be ready at 9 tomorrow night.
9?
Because I'll be here at 10. What color you wear?
Not black.
Then I'll be sure to get purple.
Oh, you're terrible.
You said it. Bye, sassy ass.
Silver, I was wondering if I could offer you a piece. What? Where is he?
He's gone.
Oh no, what happened?
Nothing. It's all right.
He's taking me to Ballyhoo! Oh, well, now you see. And I don't know what you were talking about. He's a lovely boy.
And scene. Scene 4 the next night. Peachy and Joe sit side by side on the sofa. Peachy is wearing a tuxedo, holds an orchid corsage in a see-through box. Joe has on a dark suit, no flowers. Adolf is sitting in his customary chair reading the evening paper.
How's the war news, Mr. A?
Not good.
Yeah, we got relatives over there.
Poland?
Uh-huh. In Russia.
Well, let's hope for the best.
Yep.
Let's hope they can dodge bullets.
Excuse me?
Hey, easy there, bud. None of this is my fault. It ain't even my
Is
problem.
that right?
You bet it's Europe's problem, and they gotta solve it on their own. Right, Adolf?
I'd say that depends upon where your family is.
Well, mine's been in Louisiana for 150 years.
She's ready.
Which one?
Mine.
He goes out into the hall as Sonny comes down the stairs. She is dressed simply but well. She looks great. Please.
Hi.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Sorry about the monkey suit. Nobody told me.
You'll do.
Messed up the flowers, too.
Oh, I'll manage to survive.
Here we go, ready or not.
Prepare yourself, bud.
Peachy, corsage box in hand, comes out into the hall. Lala sails down the stairs and poses at the bottom.
Say, I thought this shindig was formal. Why didn't you get dressed up?
Oh, why, Stephen, you are a damn.
I told you, Mama.
I picked you a posy.
Oh, look, two white orchids. Oh, Adolf, come see.
I wish I had a camera.
You do have a camera, Reba.
I do.
You have Simon's Leica, the one he bought in Germany.
That? I gave it to the thrift shop last summer.
That was a very expensive camera.
I know, but nobody ever used it. What did we need it for? Y'all have to excuse me. I still haven't finished up Sonny's sweater. I better get busy. Have fun. I won't wait up.
That means she will. Night, Mama.
Have fun, y'all.
See you there.
I forgot. Dorothy says hey.
Dr. Who?
Dorothy Stein, my cousin Tony's wife.
From Louisville? Lovely people.
I can't place her. What was her name before?
Beats me. She says she was in your dorm at Michigan.
Dorothy Wolf. Dottie Wolf from Shaker Heights?
That's the one. Were you in the same sorority with her or something? I know she said it was one of the other.
Lala faints.
My God, what did I say?
Nothing at all. She didn't eat any dinner, that is all. Plus a little overexcitement. Girls do this all the time. She'll be fine.
She will.
I'll tell you what, Sylvan. Why don't you go on out and warm up the car for Lala? This is a very light evening wrap. I'm afraid she'll freeze before y'all get to the club.
Okay. But are you
She'll
sure
be
she...
fine. She'll be right out. Now go on now. I'm not going! Of course you are.
You don't understand, Mama. Dottie Wolf rushed Sigma Delta Tau with me and she got in.
Oh, Lord, that was years ago. Maybe she's forgotten about it.
No, she hasn't.
How'd you know that?
I know Dottie.
Well, maybe she'll keep quiet out of the kindness of her heart.
Dottie Wolf, never in this world. I'm not going, I'm not.
You've made some very bad decisions about your life. Don't let this be another one.
Mama, I won't go to Ballyhoo and have people laugh at me.
If they're gonna laugh at you, they'll do it whether you go or not. At least show a little backbone, for God's sake. We are not weak people. Now you get yourself up and you go on out to that car.
I can't.
You have to.
No.
Well, I guess you're right. Dottie Wolf probably does remember, and she probably will tell. And everybody you know will be saying, Lala Levy didn't get into Sigma Delta Tau at Michigan. What a pill she is. Mama! And then they'll say, and not only that, she had a fit and fell down on the floor in front of that wheel boy, and she acted so crazy she couldn't even go to the last night of Ballyhoo. You are just hateful. But I'm right, and pretty soon it will be Lala Levy. I don't believe she's been out of that house on Haddisham Road for, why, it must be 20 years. Do you see any other possibilities, daughter? Well, go on upstairs and work on that radio script. I'm sorry, it's a novel this week, isn't it? Just leave the dress on my bed, sugar. I'll take it back to Rich's tomorrow.
Lala grabs her evening wrap and exits through the front door.
I don't know. Maybe I should have just let her stay home.
Maybe.
But I don't know how many more chances she's gonna have. She was lucky to get this one.
Yes.
You ever stop and think how funny it is, Adolph?
What?
That the two of us ended up living together?
Yeah.
I never dreamed of anything like this when we were little.
Me either.
I thought we were gonna be happy when we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happened?
I don't know, Boo. I honestly don't know.
Lights fade on them. Scene 5. In the darkness, we hear a popular tune of the time played by a dance orchestra.
Come on, I'm fixing to wade right through every single one of my petticoats.
Don't go anywhere.
Not a chance.
And you, behave yourself.
Why, whatever can you mean?
Patsy, wait, you won't believe what just happened.
You know, I never can figure it out.
What's that?
Girls always go off to pee in groups. Why do you suppose that is?
No idea.
You think something funny is going on in the ladies' room us gentlemen don't know about?
I doubt it.
I mean, what if I grabbed your arm and pulled you off so we could go take a leak together?
That's never gonna happen.
Right, my point exactly. First time at the Standard Club.
Uh-huh.
Nice, ain't it?
It's alright.
Lot better than the Progressive Club, I bet.
The what?
Progressive Club.
What's that?
You're shitting me. How long you been living in Atlanta?
Month or so?
And none of your friends ever took you to the Progressive Club?
No.
I thought that's where you people went.
Us people?
The other kind. You know, Russian. Orthodox.
Wait a sec, let me get this straight. So the what do you call it? Progressive Club is where me and the rest of the other kind belong.
That's right.
And this one, the Standard Club.
Us. German Jews.
German Jews only.
Well, they're starting to let in a few others because they need the initiation fees. But they try to only take the ones that are toilet trained. At least that's the way my Uncle Ike puts it.
Son knows about this, all right?
Knows it. Her uncle's the goddamn past president. So you have nothing to worry about. You'll be treated like a prince tonight.
Hell with it.
Joe?
Probably going to take a leak. Don't worry, I ain't coming with you.
End scene. Scene 6. The free tag house. Several hours later. The house is dark, except for a table lamp in the hall.
I'm in.
Adolph in his bathrobe comes to the dining room, holding a refrigerator dish full of fried chicken.
Sonny,
It's me.
I thought you were going to breakfast after the dance.
I asked Harold Lilienthal to bring me home.
Harold, Lilienthal, where's Joe?
I don't know.
What happened?
We were dancing and I excused myself, and when I came out of the ladies' room, he was gone.
That doesn't doesn't make any sense. Was he feeling all right?
The doorbell sounds. Adolf opens the door.
Joe, you all right?
Yeah, sure.
What happened to you?
Went for a drive.
A drive.
Yeah.
Why?
Seemed like the best thing to do.
I see. Well, good night.
Yeah, good night.
Anybody want a piece of chicken? It's good cold.
No thanks, Mr. A.
Shame to let it go to waste. Sonny,
I'm not hungry.
seems to me a little snack always enhances a late night discussion.
We're not having a discussion.
So I notice, but you should be. Now, you holler now if you change your mind about the chicken.
What?
I didn't say anything.
Well, you certainly should.
Should what?
Tell me what happened.
I bet you've got a pretty good idea.
I don't at all. I thought we were having a good time.
We were. And you're wrong.
Wrong.
You are a good dancer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Joe, I'm entitled to know what happened.
Why didn't you tell me?
Tell you what?
Guys like me aren't welcome at the Standard Club.
Is that what all this fuss is about? For heaven's sake, I don't run the Standard Club.
You took me there.
I wanted to dance with you. I didn't think it mattered.
Oh, really? You planning on taking a swim at the Venetian Club pool anytime soon?
It's not at all the same thing.
Sure it is. You think I like being where I'm not wanted?
You are wanted. Just about anybody can join the Standard Clubs these days.
Great. Is that supposed to make me feel better?
You're making an awful lot over nothing, you know.
Nothing!
Yes, if you'd said something, we could have discussed it and I could have explained.
Yeah, explain what?
That old other kind business, sure, I grew up in a house full of it, but that doesn't automatically mean I believe it myself. As far as I'm concerned, you and I are on equal footing in every way possible.
Spoken like a true Wellesley girl. A believer in Upton Sinclair and a fighter for the underdog. You make me sick.
You make me sick! All this about the way you felt, what about the way I felt? I had everybody in that place looking for you. I've never been so embarrassed in my life.
Tough.
Men don't abandon girls like that where I come from.
My deepest apologies, man.
You think this is funny? Of course you do. How could you know any better?
Wait a minute, how could I know any better?
No,
Thank you
wait.
very much, yeah. Okay, I get it.
We were brought up differently, that's all I meant.
I know what you mean. You smell like a rose and I smell like a salami sandwich.
I didn't say that. You're not listening to what I'm trying
I'm
to...
listening real good, and you know what I hear? Jew hater talk. Clear as a bell. Oh yeah, I've been hearing that garbage all my life, but damn it, I never thought I'd hear it coming out of a Jewish girl.
How dare you storm into this house in the middle of the night and swearing and yelling and accusing me of all kinds of absurd...
Right. Why don't you just call me a kike and get it over with?
I think it is over with.
Shame Duncan Popik.
I don't know what you're saying.
Thanks for nothing.
The house is quiet. Then the doorbell sounds. It sounds again insistently, and again. A light in the upstairs hall. Adolf comes downstairs, the bell keeps sounding. He opens the door. Lala comes into the front hall.
Mama! Mama!
Lala, what is it?
Mama! Mama! What happened? What was it, that wolf girl from Michigan? No, Johnny didn't say a word. What is it? Peachy asked me to marry him! Oh, thank the Lord! Oh, sugar! Are you sure? What do you mean I'm sure? Of course I'm sure! She doesn't believe me. Is it really true, Sylvan?
What do you think?
This is such a surprise! When did y'all decide?
We've been talking about it since Thanksgiving.
We have?
Not you, Mother, Daddy, and me.
Ain't love grand.
And Daddy said, well, at least we know what we're getting here on both sides. And my mother said, you can have it if you want it, I guess. She was ready to get Grandma Zachariah's engagement ring out of the safe deposit box for me to bring to Atlanta. But I said, let's wait a while and see if I can't find somebody better at Ballyhoo.
Oh, isn't he awful?
He certainly is.
Tell him, Peachy.
What?
This is the best part.
I might be interested in moving to Atlanta and coming to work with you at the Dixie Bennett Corporation.
Oh, Sylvan, I can hardly believe it. Aren't you thrilled, Adolf?
we hear a train conductor's voice. The station is Wilmington. Wilmington, Delaware, coming up. The station is Wilmington. Lights up on the sleeping compartment. It is 2 weeks later. Sunny is on her way back to college. She is reading a book.
Come in.
Hi.
Hi.
So your mother finished the sweater, huh?
Yes.
Good for her. Looks nice.
Thank you.
Upton Sinclair!
Yes.
I thought so. So you didn't get your schoolwork finished over the vacation, huh?
Not quite. Oh,
What?
Happy New Year.
Right, same to you.
Thank you. What brings you to Wilmington?
Looking at a bed springs factory in the neighborhood.
And as long as you were here, Uncle Adolph told you to come down and give me a look-see.
Yep. Need anything?
No, thank you.
Okay, then. So long.
Bye.
I lied.
What?
Mr. A didn't tell me to come. He doesn't even know I'm here.
Oh,
The Bed Springs factory is in West Virginia.
how did you get to Wilmington?
Drove
All that way? You must have gotten up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
3:30.
No.
I didn't want to miss the train.
Oh. I'm glad you didn't.
Me too.
Joe,
Yeah?
what you said about you hated talk.
Yeah?
I thought about it a lot, and it's not true. How could it be? It would be like hating myself.
Uh-huh.
No, don't you see? It's only ignorance. I don't know anything. There's just a big hole where the Judaism is supposed to be. But I remembered I do know some Yiddish. I went to my sweet mate's house in Chestnut Hill for dinner once, and they said it at the table. Shabbat Shalom. Something like that.
It's not Yiddish, it's Hebrew. Shabbat Shalom. It's the blessing you say every Friday night.
Shabbat Shalom. Joe, I never should have taken you to Ballyhoo.
I asked you, remember?
Yes, but I should have known better. I'm sorry.
Me too. But I didn't need to act like such a jerk.
I don't blame you one bit.
I miss you like hell.
I miss you too.
It hurts all the time.
I know.
I was hoping maybe.
Me too.
What? What's the matter?
What?
You're crying.
So are you.
Must be the diesel smoke.
Uncle Adolph told me I should hold on to you.
Smart man.
All aboard! All aboard!
No.
Don't worry, it's just the beginning.
Of what?
You know, who knows, sunshine? We got the whole future ahead of us.
Yes.
So, give something really good and we'll make it happen.
Okay.
Lights up on the Freetag house. The Christmas tree is gone. Joe, Adolph, Boo, Regal, Lala, and Peachy are seated at the dinner table. Sonny walks into the scene and lights the Sabbath candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom.
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 The candles shine. The end.
Discussion after this. There'll be an opportunity, a panel that'll of faculty from Georgia, and of course an opportunity for us to ask about the show, to ask questions of the panel. Dr. Hugh, the Senior Associate Dean, College of the Francis. Dr. John Lester, Distinguished Professor of English. No introduction guest, Alfred Uhry. Dr. Fran T., University Professor of the Arts Studies and the Department of English. Dr. John Patrick, Dramatic Writing and Theater Appreciation, that we just watched. To just start things, of course, this play is very close to your and I'm wondering the play is autobiographical. It's departed.
Well, it was a very, very 39, so it's not really close. But it was my parents' love. I moved things, and yeah, that's nice, isn't it? And I grew up unusual Southern Jewish, where who came to Atlanta before, and they felt very. They were. they consider them than any, and Reformed Jews after that not only embraced it, they became an escape. The Eastern European Jews flooded this country, very things like beards and funny names, and the prejudice made no sense whatsoever. Only certain of that Germans who said they could bad secret. Nobody, but after getting it on, I found this exists in every bunch of people there are. I don't know if you've heard of that African Americans, where if you wouldn't get into the party, there was lace curtain on, there was existed. We all liked that, and it was something that my own that I grew up in, the five-day house, rampant with that, but I grew up in was. It never quite. I was asked to write a play in 1996 Olympics. Meant to be about sports, but okay, the international 39 when the movie had gone. And then I thought, oh boy, invading Poland, wanted to write about Ballyhoo. I came at the very between the my friend Herb, who was it was like a Jewish meat market. The right point, and there was the foul something else. There was in I think, and one all over the South different holiday and at Christmas. A good way to think about what, and the fact that my sister and I were Easter egg hunts ever, and it was, I don't know, a night. Clearly I had my Jewish face. That's reality.
You said that it's other from
What? My life, and my father was really, my mother said, God. No, it's just a play. Make sure he's a good dancer. So, I mean, this is all based on family. And stories that I had heard about seeing the train and his own wedding. It was stuff I heard. Love my grandmother, and they would sit around and talk, and I would do stuff. And all these stories to each other. I saw so-and-so last night. I did too. She was not a fit because she'd been dead. Go. In that family of so you didn't say I love you. You didn't do things like that. You didn't discuss your own feelings, and that much. And it was just the way time traveled back. Wonderful because it had all this gorgeous. Well, imagine if you never kissed, but dance, a wonderful Jerome Kern star, and you never even kissed her. And
Dr. Teague, you had a question.
The way that you handle history or the history of lynching. You just keep coming back to the room.
yeah,
In a way.
that's Eudora, not me.
Well, I kept some of that in that story.
I guess
It doesn't have to go any further. On history, Mr. Gary.
the hit of German is very, and I really Georgia all the time. Received this wonderful award because even though I'm living, my heart something like this. There's a lot using a lot of your and people, particularly older ones, a lot of things, and the fact the character of Bully so smart, jobs your company, and so festered into this, getting her daughter married to the right, and it was dramatic to me.
So picking up, I'm wondering if Dr. Lowe wants to, one fact, originally being from the South, plays, Daisy and Parade in particular, are the history of Jews in the South. Few people have talked about, isn't really very well known, about his work in Southern literature and sort of car history.
Well, I went to City and I studied immigrant literature. We looked at this syndrome. A great writer was the Billy Forward in Manhattan. He wrote The Rise of David. You might have seen the movie Hester's Bridegroom. Same things going on in News up on the east side, where rough customers were fleeing the pogroms. And I'm from Atlanta, the same elementary school, at Highland School. As I pointed out, though, you're younger than I. We're still there.
Been there for a long
But
time.
later, when I first married, I had to both the standard. So when I was went to set up performances, it was a revelation to me about things I knew about. By the play and the way he used inner Ballyhoo, and then the premiere of Crossroads of he obviously, but my died that my daddy with the wind, in high school and was the commander of the art premiere with their saber strums came down. So I was that touched. And then I was just talking to Hughes, which I'm sure a lot and carefully going through, had the history of riches, and so did my Christmas. And up on the glass bridge.
Right.
He didn't put it in there. And he might come into being till now, so he did do his homework. I know. Yeah, interbred.
Well, the interesting thing about Jews as opposed to New York, they had filter, and they had Confederacy and so defeated. All I have to deal with too.
So you are bringing it towards the Jews with the rise of communism. Came up, and of course Leo Frank in the musical parade, but the community was earlier. And in fact, I Diving Club, which is kind of a bastion of what's in, but one of the founders of the Diving Club was Jewish. I've also read that Bell's family was instrumental in founding the right. Okay, yeah, okay. So you're in it too.
It's the way. The thing to me about Atlanta, all that said, Jews and black and white, I mean, love. Mm-hmm. Even if you know there's, but what? And it is. Except I don't know if that kind of prejudice exists in Jews or it married out. Hey, there were so many more Eastern, and also realization that there had been a holiday, kind of got rid. It's
Replicates itself in other groups.
well, always.
From New York, from the Alliance.
Right.
And I can't remember this.
It was first trimmed down a little bit.
Yes.
The Alliance was,
I remember,
well, we opened her and I just.
Dana Ivey was.
Yes, she was.
Atlanta Connection.
I grew up in college, the Southerns, and play before, actually, seen it. Just sort of familial reaction names of Atlanta that the earliest. And I agree, the night when premiered, just a play, the premiere.
Oh my God!
So I just wanted character in the play I like the most. Peaches I've taught. Catholic or Episcopalian. It's a particular character. It's a kind of negation of found his way into a story. But I just for la life with that kid in a play that's basically character comedy. It's to think that she's going to is tragic.
Wait, the story of those was happily married and very proud. So there you go.
I wanted to ask you, the partner in business, DeWald.
Mm-hmm.
Did you connect that with DeWald? I mean, in German.
There was just my grandmother had a thought. You did. Yeah, DeWald. So I just took
It's a repetition of the relative.
Seemed to have a lot of uncles that were schlemiels and didn't do it.
There was some about the end of the play scene.
Yeah.
About that, or if that.
But I just that it could happen. A lot of bad because apparently Shabbat from 7 nobody said Shabbat. I don't want to. You hate. I don't know. It's up to that level.
Yeah, no, I think it elevates. It puts the sort of transcends of this family.
Thank you.
As a playwright, do you have any from a drama?
Well, sorry about this, but it was just an opportunity to get to read this play, and it was great for us. Our first and second rehearsal break and our identities, and just that's a grenades for all. My father, I'm from, by that I mean I'm from the but my father was Irish, English man. So my brother once hit us with holy water. We were discussing so much, who identified as over the years that they are, what we don't hide. I mean, and what's as presented as this kind of comedy, but it's nuanced and every time really fantastic journey for all questions. Just a lot of praise for this piece. It was gorgeous, hilarious, and I felt bad for Lala too. This, what do you think, fella? Yeah, we had a wonderful for having us.
I'd like to open the audience here. Questions?
Yes, ma'am.
What's to see actors performing your work?
It's great.
Maybe that other people said.
Oh, I was a little boy. I was just thrilled that they were done. Pretty happy. I'm scared of audiences who land. Playwright. I don't have anybody else to talk to except the dog. I rehearsals
try to play up his prejudice about that.
I didn't think it was, I was just writing about, and I was writing about I felt as a child, and I was prejudiced one way or another. I had people that were, but I, paid their taxes and did the good. I think it's elevated. I think it has to be elevated from today. So the fact, 19, and it was more tense. The truth.
Writing it as they're funny, but it's just out of these very compelling and believable characters. Were you thinking,
I never think that.
But so many of these have well about grabbing mistakes, play, about bigotry play. It is about bigots. It's about stumbling to get through his best.
And I think
Exactly.
all
So
men.
you can't say it's not very stuff in it too, because
No.
it's for people.
For me, the level of, it can maybe not go, but the very fact that, which is a lot of, that just aspect of that, what that movie, and then you have Hitler, what he's gonna do, it was an amazing balance. Sometimes we don't take that in our own home, but then we complain, where I think that sometimes it is individual person together, what happened in the South, that's the backdrop, it's powerful, it makes us feel and be responsible. People grew and kind of get out of that.
Yeah, thank you. These people, 1940, so people changed it. And it's interesting that imagine for my grandchildren, Gone with the Wind, it's about the slave, which is spectrum. I don't know how much, I don't know much about Gone with the Wind.
You put this on and we know where human left unchecked for me. Country club, that sound dangerous, country that becomes really tragic. Yeah.
Also the 25th, the Berlin Wall, speaking of exclusive. Yeah.
I think we probably have time for one more question.
Talk about what led you to take next and why you took them.
On was my owned the pencil factory, and I musical. It sounds. Harold Prince, who's about, and why were the Germans determined Jewish? I don't know, but the old Frank case and what happened. He said, I sort of know about it. So I told him, and he glasses on top of his head like, oh my God, that's going to be my name. And mother, and I said, how do a musical with me? Said, oh my God, now how she knew that. And it just Kicking Chorus Girls. It was a musical play. Had one man who was not Southern at all. It's just things, the idea why they bubble up, and sometimes they just have to go with it.
God, too, didn't he?
He did.
Which is comedy.
Did cabaret.
That's
All right.
Point of Jordan's Edward Ogle permit lawyers when he first established.
But we got here.
That. Thank goodness we have a chance.
But there were a lot of.
My piano teacher, and she lesson with was because my mother wanted to play for funerals and weddings. I so thank God. I wish we still had clothes that who had remembered it to call that. If any of you ladies mother did, and of what it was like from little five memories of having a Great Depression and coming home with money from down to Regenstein's Jewish store, in the country. And in Moultrie, Georgia, we had Freelanders. We had all the Jewish people wealthy jobs, that I had lived. And remember,
I'll tell you that. There are a lot of poor ones.
Later learned, but the ones I all store owners. But
You're welcome.
riches,
All right. Thank you very much, and to the panelists. And